Banjo Land, Mike Heading here. I've got another beginner lesson for you today. This one I'm calling Mastering the Forward Reverse Roll. The forward reverse roll is one of the big 4 rolls you need to know to be able to play Scruggs style banjo. So I'm going to start by breaking down the basic roll. I'm going to show you how to add some left hand notes to practice your scales. Then we're going to go over a bunch of Scruggs style licks that use this roll. So that's really important. So I'm taking the roll and using it to play Scruggs style licks. Then we're going to go over a bunch of backup stuff. The forward reverse roll works great for backup. So I'm going to show you a bunch of basic backup chord progressions that you can use to practice this roll. And then we're going to practice using the forward reverse roll to practice changing through our chord inversions. So our F shape, our D shape, our bar chord, and then back up to our F shape. So I'm going to show you how to use the forward reverse roll to switch between those positions so you can practice all your chord inversions and get you moving all over the neck. I'm going to break down everything note for note. All right, here we go. Here's mastering the forward reverse roll. All right, so let's start this lesson by breaking down the roll in its most basic form. Let's just start up in the top 3 strings, strings 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to start with a forward roll, so T-I-M. Then we're going to hit our thumb, and we're just going to stay on the 3rd string for now. Then we're going to go backwards, M-I-T, same strings. Then we've got one more middle finger that gets us our last note. So we've got the forward roll, T-I-M, then you hit your thumb, then you go backwards, then one more middle. That's where you get the forward reverse roll. So you're going forward, and it's split up by a thumb, and then backwards. And then one more middle to make it work out since we need 8 notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So practice that as many times as you need to. So another variation on that is measure 2, where everything is exactly the same except the very last note. We're going to end with our index finger instead of our middle finger. So same start with the forward roll. Then you hit your thumb, then you go backwards, and then we have an index at the end. So that sounds like this. Practice picking out all the notes really clearly, especially if you're a beginner. It's easy to have your thumb be a lot louder than all the other notes, so make sure you're giving your index and middle finger plenty of volume. Practice those 2 rolls back and forth. So start with the middle one. Now I'll do the index. Back to middle. So remember with our rolls, it's just a finger pattern. So T-I-M, T-M-I-T-M. So it doesn't matter what strings we're doing that on. We'll call that a forward reverse roll. It's a lot less things to remember if you just remember it as a finger combination rather than what strings does it work on, because you can do it on any sets of strings once you get the finger combination down. So let's look at measure 3, which is another very common forward reverse roll pattern. We're going to start it the same way, strings 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to go up and hit the 5th string with our thumb. Now go backwards, and then middle. So everything's the same except we're using the 5th string, which is really common. Probably the way you'll see the forward reverse roll in its most common form is using that 5th string to break up the forward and reverse roll. Measure 4, same thing. You can do the same roll except end with your index finger. So you can loop any of those rolls on their own or practice them back to back, mix them up. The more ways you can mix those 4 rolls up, the better. You just really practice, make sure you're following the finger patterns carefully there. So let's look at some more advanced ways to play that forward reverse roll. And remember, we're using the same fingers, just different strings now. So we're going to start with the 4th string. So we're going to do 4, 3, 1. So T-I-M. Then hit the 5th string. Then go 1, 2, 3. So backwards. And then middle. So it's going to get your thumb and index finger moving around a little bit more. sure you keep your thumb out front enough so your fingers aren't running into each other. Let's look at measure 6, another variation on that. We're going to use the 4 string more this time, so 4, 2, 1 this time. And then hit the 4 string, and then go 1, 3, 5, and then 2nd string. That's a goofy one. I did that one intentionally to give you practice moving around. Your index finger is really moving around as well as your thumb there. Let's do another one. Measure 7 uses a lot of the 5th string. We're going to start with the 5th string this time. So 5, 3, 1, and then 5th string, and then 1, 3, 4. That's our backwards roll, 1, 3, 4, and then 2nd string again. Lastly, measure 8, same start, 5, 3, 1. Then you're going to go up to the 3rd string with your thumb, and then go backwards, 1st string, 2nd string, 4th string, and then 3rd string ends it. That one's really goofy. Just, again, practice getting your thumb and index finger to move all around. And some of these are just meant for practice more than you'll probably not do them that often in a real life song, but you're just getting practice finding all those strings quickly with your index finger and thumb. So that's a bunch of patterns you can practice and you can make up your own. Remember, you're using the same finger combinations. We're just changing the strings. That's all we're doing. So the more variations you can come up with that pattern, the better. Just going to get it further ingrained into your head, and you're going to get your accuracy better. So when you encounter a different roll in a new song, you'll be able to play it faster. Okay, so now that we've got some of the basic roll patterns down, let's look at adding some left-hand melody notes that will make it more interesting to practice the roll. So let's start with that basic open, forward, reverse roll again. So we're going to start with 3, 2, 1, then hit the 3rd string, then go backwards, 1, 2, 3, and then middle, 1st string, one more time. Sounds like this. It's the one we did in measure 1. And that one will work really good for this exercise because we're using the 3rd string a lot. And that's where we're going to be finding our notes. So any roll that uses that 3rd string of those ones we just practiced, you could use for this exercise. But we're going to start with measure 1 to just show you how to do it. So we're starting with open on the 3rd string. Take our 2nd finger of our left hand and put it on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Do that same roll. And experiment adjusting your hand so you're not muting that 2nd string. You know, if your hand is too far back like this, you're going to be muting those strings. So you have to find that right balance to where you can come straight down on the string. Don't be back this way. And that just takes some experimenting. Slide up to the 4th fret and do that same roll. 5th fret, same roll. Up to 7th fret. 9th fret. 11th fret. Then 12th fret. So your 12th fret is your octave. So if I play those notes, it's just a major scale. You could go back down. So what I want you to practice is not stopping your right hand when you're changing those notes.